Okay, so I was listening to a podcast this morning, and they were talking about Pokemon Go, and it's the new best app in the world that everyone is playing, and it's simultaneously destroying all society. And it reminded me of a news story, a headline that I saw, that a Pokemon live-action movie has been greenlit. So I jumped on Wikipedia. I needed some information. According to Wikipedia, and now this is Wikipedia, it's edited by users, grain of salt. It's not Bulbapedia, it's not maintained by the fandom. Anyway, they list almost, or if not exactly, 20 feature-length animated Pokemon films. They've been making Pokemon films ever since the first games came out on Game Boy like 20 years ago. Like, Pokemon movies are nothing new, but one little mobile app goes out, it explodes, and suddenly they're greenlighting a live-action version of a Pokemon movie. Now, this kind of worries me, because anytime Hollywood finds a property that is really lucrative outside of movies, they rush to get a live-action movie in production to cash in on the craze. The trouble is, when you're dealing with Pokemon, you have to deal with the monsters. Now, if you're doing a live-action movie and you're dealing with monsters, you can go one of two ways. Either you can keep the monsters really cartoony looking, kind of like how they are when you use the AR feature in Pokemon Go. If you're using augmented reality and you point your camera at something, there's not a Pidgey or a Weedle that looks like an actual bird or an actual worm. They look like they do in the games, all cartoony and whatnot. Now, they can go that way in the live-action movie and kind of have a Who Framed Roger Rabbit style aesthetic, which I think is the only right decision to make. But because it's Hollywood, and because you're going to get a director that is of the opinion that all of their decisions are going to be better than what the fandom thinks, is they're probably going to pull a Super Mario Brothers movie and try to make all of the Pokemon look super realistic with fur and scales and all this other stuff. And oh gosh, I am very, very apprehensive to say that them deciding to do a live-action Pokemon movie is a good thing. And that's just the monsters. That's just one element of the movie. On the flip side, you have the humans. Because you gotta have humans in a Pokemon movie to anchor the audience. You can't have it just be about the Pokemon. Which kind of mires things, because there's gonna be people out there that want the movie to basically be a retread of the anime, you know, the cartoon that everyone was watching when the games first came out with Ash and Brock and Misty. Then there's people that are gonna say that the live-action movie needs to follow the comic books, the mangas that I think is red and blue and green and all of those colorful names. Honestly, I think the only way to do a Pokemon movie right would be to have an original story. Start off with some other 10-year-old starting off from home, leaving his single mom behind so that he can run off and catch Pokemon. I mean, granted, it's how all of the games start, with the exception of maybe like one or two of them. But I don't know, it's just uneasy. It's like, how do you pull a compelling story out of a game where your main goal is to wander around in the tall grass and catch monsters without ripping off and doing an injustice to other source material? I don't know. I'm just very apprehensive about the whole idea, and it makes me think of this Power Rangers movie that they're making, and they're changing all of the aesthetics, and who knows what they're doing. But The gist of this video is a warning to all of the Pokemon fans to not get your hopes up. Do not get hyped about the Pokemon movie. Do not get excited. Do not get hyped. Do not speculate about story, because you will be disappointed. Hollywood takes things and they pour a ton of money into them and they ruin it. You are going to have preconceived notions of what you expect a Pokemon live action movie to be, and this movie is not going to fit any of them. It is going to pale in comparison. And if you walk into the Pokemon movie, or you watch the trailers, or you comment on a video talking about this movie, you are going to be disappointed. It is not going to be what you want. So take it all with a grain of salt. You know, put all of your expectations on a shelf. If you want an honest and loyal adaptation, go watch an animated movie, because this live action movie is not going to be the animated movies. Gosh, I almost feel like I want to be hopeful and think that everybody has this same opinion, but there are people out there that are all gung-ho at the idea of a Pokemon live action movie, and it's going to be everything they ever dreamed of, and it's not. Because Hollywood is all about money. They see that the Pokemon Go app is really popular, they want to cash in on it, so they're going to slapdash a movie together, put some big names at the front of it, and they're going to probably be a bunch of actors that are half trying when they show up. The important thing is, if you walk into it expecting one thing and it's something else, don't blame yourself. Actually, no, you probably should blame yourself. If you're disappointed, blame yourself. Because if you walk into the Pokemon movie and it's something that you don't expect it to be, don't blame Hollywood. Blame yourself, because your expectations are ridiculous. I mean, if you're a Pokemon fan and you're a writer in Hollywood, go for it. Write that script, make it everything you want it to be, but you're gonna disappoint me. That's just how it works with movies in Hollywood. Every single time. Alright, that's good.